Mike, Josh Hutcherson, is shocked at the shocking twist at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's. Mike, who is desperate to find Garrett's kidnapper, strikes a bargain with the Ghost Kids. In exchange for stealing Abby, they will let him alter the events of his dreams in order to free Garrett. Mike nods, but he later has second thoughts and abandons his fantasies in favor of reality. Mike finds out in the meantime that Vanessa was aware of the events at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in the 1980s all along. Vanessa turns out to be the daughter of Steve Raglan aka William Afton, who killed 5 children at Freddy's and the police never found them. Additionally, the conclusion of Five Nights at Freddy's reveals that when Mike was 12 years old, William killed and abducted Garrett. After turning a blind eye to her father's misdeeds out of fear of reprisals, Vanessa joins Mike in his fight against William in an attempt to keep Abby from becoming his next victim. When the children see that Abby has revealed the truth, the animatronics finally turn on William, pulling him off while his own animatronic suit slashes at him internally. But Vanessa is hospitalized after being stabbed by her father, and William survives. After everything, Mike and Abby are doing well a few weeks later, but Abby wants to know if she may still check in on her friends. In reality, the animatronics are haunted by the spirits of the children that William murdered in the 1980s. William hid the children's bones inside where no one would think to look, so it's not like their ghosts are just bringing life to the synthetic monsters. The children's tactile relationship is what makes the mechanical ghosts come to life. It was discovered that William was a serial killer who kidnapped kids, killed them, and then used their corpses to manipulate their remains so he could carry out his orders without having to touch them. Since the children's deaths, Freddy's has been closed and their ghosts have followed in William's footsteps by controlling, scaring, and murdering anyone who trespassed on the property. William profited from Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closing as he could keep killing people without anybody questioning him. Because the animatronic ghosts were permanently attached to the location where they were slain, they were unable to sleep, and William took advantage of this. Crucially, William would not have permitted the closure of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, because doing so would have exposed the children's corpses and placed him at fault for their deaths. William gained control over the children by leaving them in animatronic form, and less people would visit Freddy's unattended in the hopes of finding any evidence. Vanessa was essentially keeping an eye on everything and carrying out her father's instructions, which helped. Mike's obsession was his abduction nightmares with Garrett. Mike was often reminded in his dreams of his failure to save his younger brother. He was not actually living in the present, as evidenced by almost all of his encounters with Abby, as he was obsessed with discovering who the kidnapper was. Mike's decision to give up Abby in return for altering Garrett's course demonstrated how unable he was to move past the past and how fixated he was on clearing his own guilt. Naturally, Mike was also under the influence of the child's spirits, but when he decided to trade Abby for Garrett, he was actively choosing to ignore the present and speak to the depth of his own suffering. Mike was able to move forward and be there for his sister when he realized he had given up on Abby and forced him to stop dwelling on the past. It served as a wake-up call for him, enabling him to see Abby more clearly and show her support in a manner he hadn't before. After so much time spent living in constant fear of her father, Vanessa eventually faced him, and as a result, William stabbed her. Vanessa was pulled from Freddy's by Mike and Abby while still conscious. However, the conclusion of Five Nights at Freddy's indicates that Vanessa had gone into a coma. Vanessa's survival after being stabbed hints that she will awaken from her coma at some point. She may need some time to heal, but Five Nights at Freddy's would have killed her off if they had wanted to. Vanessa's historical knowledge is crucial to each film that comes after, as she played a crucial role in the struggle against William. Throughout Five Nights at Freddy's, Aunt Jane posed a threat. She also hired a crew to ransack Freddy Fazbear's Pizza in an attempt to terminate Mike since she was so determined to take custody of Abby. She did, however, virtually vanish after being attacked by Freddy Fazbear. Jane is seen on the living room floor when Abby is removed from her house, but there is no close-up or proof of what truly happened to her. Like the animatronics that killed Max and her brother, did Freddy also kill her? It's conceivable. Nonetheless, it is likely that she lived because Mike and Abby don't bring her up at the end of the movie. If she is still alive, it suggests that she may be preparing to take up the custody dispute when she is less alarmed. It would have been interesting to know how she interpreted the events and whether they scared her enough to dismiss the custody fight against Mike. In any case, she is likely to survive, just like Vanessa. The first game is pretty closely followed by Five Nights at Freddy's. Mike continues to work as a night security guard and accepts a job maintaining the closed restaurant. The animatronics history is also mostly the same. The primary departure from the game is the arrival of Abby, a fictional character developed for the movie. In the movie adaptation, Abby is the one the ghost kids seek, even though they hope to force Mike into an extra mechanical outfit. The inclusion of Abby in Five Nights at Freddy's provides Mike with a backstory that enhances his persona. Additionally, it grants him more strength to fend off the animatronics in order to save Abby. Furthermore, although William's involvement in the serial killer is concealed throughout the movie, it is made clear early on in the game. Although William is kept alive until the end of the movie in Five Nights at Freddy's, in the games he has already passed away and the animatronic Yellow Rabbit is controlled by his spirit. William's daughter is named Elizabeth, but Vanessa, a security guard in the games rather than a police officer, replaces her in the movie. Notably, Five Nights at Freddy's conceals Michael's last name, while the movie version does not present William's son Michael. As William being pulled away by the other animatronics, the endoskeleton of his Yellow Rabbit suit starts to stab him. While the ending of Five Nights at Freddy's does not explicitly state that he is dead, it does depict him bleeding profusely from his wounds as one of the ghost boys shuts the storage door on him. William may still resurrect as a ghost and bring his mechanical Yellow Rabbit to life if he passes away. Not that Mike set Freddy Fazbear's Pizza on fire, thus it seems sense that William might make a comeback no matter what happened to him. It's evident that Five Nights at Freddy's sets up a sequel, even though it's unclear how Mike and Abby will stay involved. But since they are now permanently linked to the family restaurant, they might be lured there again if Abby chooses to visit her animatronic pals. This would set up William's retaliation against the two for first taking him down.